Hey guys, before we get started, I just want you to understand and remind you that this is not financial advice. We don't do that around here. We don't. I can't go for that. It's not. It's not what we're about. Also, if I might ask you to ignore prices, because these prices don't hold forever. What was this week 90 becomes 79. What was last week 70 becomes 78. So it's all up in the air. It's all based on teams and team captains and flash challenges and all these things. So don't look at that when you're looking at the value of a set. Look at the players, look at the scarcity, look at the health, look at how much longer these guys are going to be in the league. Then do the eye test and make sure it's a beautiful collectible. And that's all I'll say before we get started. Sharks, what's good? It's your boy Shark. Today we're doing the very first ever set review. I'm really excited. We're just going to go through sets. We're going to go through check this out. We're going to go through every set. Yeah, all of them. Every single one. I'm going to try and mix it up, but over time, we're going to go through every single one. Once they're closed, we're going to go through. So some of these, obviously, for example, Challenge Champion is not a closed set, but once it is, I'll review it. I'll put it in the list. So basically, I made a list of every single set. For now, I'm separating Series 1 from these because I want to give it a little time before I get into that one, because that one I feel like is its own sort of separate world. But I put Series 2 through 4 in a list, and I randomized the list. And I want to do a rare set first because I feel like it's more interesting than common, but more accessible to people and more, of more interest to more people than legendary. So I took all the currently completed sets, I mixed them up, I separated the rares out, and then I took the first four. I took the first four on the list, and oh wow, that got interesting fast. I took the first four on the list, and I put them in a Twitter poll, and some of you probably saw that. And the first four names, you guys voted on them, and Squad Goals was the winner. So we're starting with Squad Goals. This is a fun one. This is you see these names at the top: LeBron, Jokic, Embiid, Mitchell, Siakam, and then it gets a little interesting. But we're going to talk about it. So the five categories I want to discuss are these: quality and health of players. Are they great players across the board? Do they leave something to be desired, and or can they actually get on the court so they can be used in challenges and things like that? Being part of sets, being, just eligible for the sorts of things, maybe like player leaderboards that might garner some sort of utility or prizes or anything like that. Matters to Top Shot. Second category is scarcity within tier. So if there are a lot of, let's say Paul George has a lot of rares, which he absolutely does compared to some of the other players in his tier, you get points off of that in a sense. But if you are Siakam and you don't have a lot of rares, which he doesn't, well, then this set stacks up better to other rare sets in its sort of weight class, circulation. So if the set is properly deflated, if it's been burned or locked, then it makes it more likely that the value will hold up relative to where it should be. The eye test, we'll just watch some moments. It's exactly what it sounds like. And overall, if there's anything I missed, need to look over again, and I'll give it some sort of rating, which I have not. A system as of yet I have not devised. So we'll be doing that, and that'll be interesting. So here we go. So quality / health of players. In looking at this, I mean, obviously Blake Griffin is the most expensive, not because he's better than LeBron James, but because this is the bottleneck. For anyone who doesn't know, the bottleneck is the moment, not with the highest price, but with the smallest mint. Those two tend to be correlated anyway. So in this case, the moment with the smallest mint is just the part that makes it hardest to complete the set. So we know, considering this is a closed set, that there are only going to be 301 completions, which means if you want to complete the set and you have LeBron, it makes it that much more important to go get the Blake. So some folks in the Nine Lives Lounge have made something of a big deal about this. Whatever. I'm not necessarily going to do it just for that, but regardless, we got Mr. LeBron and Jokic and Embiid. This is a pretty big five. Shout out to Donovan. We all know what he did. What was it, last night? Then after that, it gets a little dicey. You got Justice Winslow, who's on a new team every year. We've got Isaac Okoro, who we don't really know what his role is yet. If he's like an offensive player, what his strengths would be. We got KPJ, who's a good player, certainly. Rob, who just came out of a finals appearance and is a fine role man. Iggy, who's about to retire, something of a Warriors legend. Lonzo gets hurt a lot. Hero is playing really well this year. You know, Zubac is a veteran role player. I don't know that I feel like personally I need a rare of Ivica Zubac, but oh well, what are you going to do? He's in here, and there's a lot of quality players in here. There's Bradley Beal, Dante DiVincenzo's getting a lot of minutes with the Warriors. He steals a bunch. You know, he was at 15, 20, 25 minutes to start the season. Then he started moving up to like 25, 30. So clearly the Warriors value him as part of their rotation. We got LaMelo, who, you know, stud, obviously. And then you got guys like Jackson Hayes, and then you got Devin Booker, and then you got Keldon Johnson. And Emmanuel, it's kind of all over the place, as you can see. The bottom, you know, I can't be mad at like Jalen Brunson and John Collins at the bottom, but then you got Bagley and O'Shea Brissett and Mo Bamba, and I don't know where Lou Dort is such a question mark. Isaac Okoro, such a question mark for what was it, the 4th overall pick? Jackson Hayes, good player, but like, you know, but I'm inclined to say that these guys are, I mean, with the exception of Blake, who could be out of the league as soon as next year. I mean, we don't really have any guarantees on him. This might be his last year. I seriously wouldn't be surprised, which I don't know if that makes, you know, maybe we'll get a Clippers Blake at some point. Austin Ken, if you're watching this, I really want some vintage Blake. Maybe the Mozgov Thrunk would be spectacular. We all know about that. So shout out to Blake and Austin Kent. They're willing to do that. But, you know, KPJ, mostly quality players. There's a couple of duds where it's like, I wouldn't be crazy, but at this point in time, I wouldn't be crazy about having a Lou Dort rare necessarily, or a Melton rare, or a Zubac rare. But like overall, I'm giving it an A minus because I think these guys stay healthy, and I think, you know, despite their age, LeBron's an instant collectible. Jokic, even outside the top 5, in price, you've got a lot of value here. You know what I'm saying? So A minus, solid selection here. Now scarcity within tier. Now this is interesting. Now, okay, let's see here. Here are the names I'm going to highlight. Primarily, I mean, the first names that stick out to me are Siakam, Booker, and Mitchell. And when we look at it, just to give you a comparison here, I mean, Jokic, Embiid, and LeBron, they're going to lean on those 3 for value as much as any 3 content, should I say content creators? Because they like technically created the content that Top Shot uses. Well, as much as any 3 players, they're crucial. Now, I don't know if I know anyone other than LeBron whose rares hold up as well as Donovan Mitchell's, because a bunch of them have been burned already. 343 burned, 125 burned, 153 burned. You know, despite Throwdown sort of struggling over here. I mean, if you need a rare Donovan, like the rest of them have held up nicely. And I tend to think that this has dragged the rest of them down because this used to be in the 90s. This was at 97. This was the cheapest one at 97 for a while. So the rest of these are sort of gated. And then here's squad goals really holding up well. 6 of these have been burned. Really? I guess somebody needed him and somebody had him, I guess, for some of the early flash challenges this year. But yeah, they're you know, even if I subtract burns, I feel like maybe there are only $3 to $4 grand of these, which is like 2 All-Star game rares. Book is actually the champ out of these, but when you get into the guys who have had MGLE challenge rewards and maybe only one but not both All-Star game editions out of 2021 or 2022, then you can actually develop some scarcity. So 142 for his MGLE2. No All-Star Game 21. All-Star Game 22, obviously at the bottom because it's the highest mint, but then you got video game rewards, the squad goals, and then there were 4. And Book has held up well because, yeah, he's held up well. He's only got about 3,000 or so, it looks like. And then he had his own, you know, some of these burns were 4 squad goals. So these guys kind of came with their own built-in scarcity. Siakam has MGLE1, he has MGLE2, but he does not have, for a third-team All-NBA guy, he doesn't have either All-Star game. He doesn't have a throwdowns. He doesn't have some of the more egregious mints that we'd like to forget. He doesn't have a throwdowns 3 or 4 or 2, I believe. Siakam's he's got denied MGLE 1, 2, and 3, and squad goals, and that's it. So Siakam is really a value in the rare tier, just because of his scarcity and the contributions from his play. And then, yeah, all three of these guys are really great players. And because they were needed for this, and because other flash challenges contributed to them needing to be burned, they were. So three quality players well, not outside of the top five, but certainly in the top 7 players, I would say. And then some of these other guys, I mean, the good news about role players is they don't get minted much as rares anyway. You have to be kind of a better player to get the rare treatment, and that I think lends itself to the prices going up, because it's so much harder to imagine if Isaac Okoro had a 2000 mint rare. Who would want it? And it would just drag the rest of the tier down. So it's good to have good players at the rare tier. Now, legendary. Series 1 was its own other animal. All right. I don't have answers. I wasn't around for Series 1, but you want to talk about why does Langston Galloway have a legendary? That is, I can't help you with that. All right. I wasn't around. I wasn't there. I wasn't making the decision. All right. I love you, but it's not for me. Let's just put it that way. And then you got guys like Chris Middleton. Some of these are Emmanuel Quickley is an example. So let's do LeBron. John Collins actually has a lot, but the good news is that the role players don't have a ton. Mo, I think, has a. We'll just throw him in here just for the heck of it. Mo Bamba, LeBron, and Quickley, just for a range here. Obviously, the top for LeBron is the very top of the rare tier. He's a pretty popular guy. I think MGOE 2, right? Okay. Let me get them commons out of here. We don't want to look at that. It's ugly. Let's see here. Yeah. So this one's like half burned already. So, and he doesn't have a series 1. So that makes him interesting, and Mo has a throwdowns 2. He doesn't have a throwdowns 3. And then LeBron he's the highest value player in any tier. So, you don't have to worry about him so much, even if we do mint a couple extra rares, and they did. Some of these guys are, holding up well. 675. Yeah, these are some grail rares right here, on par with higher than most legendaries at this point. So in terms of price. So if I look a little closer, excuse me, here, yeah, I'm not so worried about the role players, and I'm not so worried about these stars. There is a tendency to overmint sometimes when you need to lean on the stars for value and price, but and for the 5% platform fee that I believe goes to the league. But otherwise, yeah, these guys hold up pretty well. And now we move on to circulation. So we're going to go visit our friends at otmnft.com. We're going to go to markets. Right. We're going to go to sets. Wait a minute. No. We're not going to do that. We're not. That's not what we're going to do. We're not even going to go to the set. We're going to go. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah. We're going to. Wow. Why did I forget what I was going to do? We're going to go by rares, and then we're going to go, yeah, like this. Sorry. So Siakam, circulation, where does the squad goals fall? The lowest, very excellent. As you'll see, a lot of rares. I think I did this the first time I tried to shoot this. There are 1085 rare editions, but let's narrow that down to NBA. It's a better comparison. Even if show 100. Even if I go to, let's say, the middle of the pack, it's still, wait, is this top down? It is. It's still 64, 63, 60%. So on the bottom end is 50. You know what I'm saying? On the, as we get into 800, you're still looking at 50. So, and that's in circulation, not out of circulation. So at the end of the line is maybe 40, 30, something like that. So yeah, now you're in the very end and you see 25, still see 35, 37. So for Siakam to be at 37 is excellent. We move on now to, let's say, Jokic. I kind of want to hit the big ones primarily. 39%. LeBron. Okay, he's got quite a few, but 49%. It makes sense. There's a lot of LeBrons you can lock for the Lakers that have high TSS, so I don't doubt that. Embiid. He's a guy who has his S1s for sure. Squad goals acquits very nicely there. Donovan, 37%. Booker, 46 edges out his MGLE S1. Wow, that is actually, I'm surprised by that because what? Yeah, you can see the price difference. People just want that squad goals. They're 54% locked. It's more locked than the bottom end are actually rares. Most the bottom end of most rares are actually in circulation. So that's really excellent. So if you decided, wow, I want to hold this, then you wouldn't get too many people who could list it and try and do whatever they wanted to do with that. Melton, I would imagine. Yeah, he's only got 2 rares, and this one's fantastically locked in its own right. Just for the sake of the sake. Donovan, we did Donovan already, right? Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be the same across the board. Zubac, he's only got 2 rares, and yeah, excellent. Embiid, we did Embiid already. Wow, it'd be nice to have a list so you could just look at it. Beal, 40 bottoms again. I mean, it looks like give me one. All right, give me one that's not as obvious. John Collins, 38%. Why are all these so locked? There's so many are locked. It's crazy. Very few are burned. Very few are burned. A lot of burnings happen to mint to be able to mint, hence the concept of crafting challenges itself. But so many of these are locked already. I have no choice but to give this, I guess, A plus. I'm sure if I go down the list, and yeah, I guess if I go, the final thing would be to do this, and then the top is 55, LaMelo 54. So yeah, excellent compared to the median, the mode, the average. Take your pick. All of these have been excellently locked. 68%, 62%, 61%. You get a lot less volatility this way. A plus, no question. All right, let's go back to the main site here. Hi, NBATopShot.com, locker. Oh, that's not starter packs. That's not locker packs. It's starter packs. But I am jonesing for the new locker packs whenever those are going to hit. Please, Dapper, maybe Thursday. You like to give us like a day's notice and then drop them on Thursday, which is fine by me if you're ready, whenever you're ready. The next category is the eye test. All right, great. This is the fun part. Let's watch these bad boys. And here we go. If we could just load the site, great. Thank you, Nicola. This one's on my watch list, as you can see, so I figured I'd start with it. I mean, the eye test for team-oriented plays, where a lot of passes are required. This is some wonderful basketball. It shows a little bit of individual greatness here, and then just a lot of team greatness. Just a lot of sharing of the basketball. Just a little bit of what these guys are able to do off 1 or 2 dribbles. Jokic being just the master orchestrator that he is, and you get the bucket. I mean, it's beautiful. I can't. What can you say? Some of my favorites. Oh, I own this one. I have this one off site. I looked. I guess the price has improved a little bit, which is great. Oh. Is this? Oh yeah, this one. Oh my goodness. Zach, stop it. Stop the presses. You don't need too many passes with this. Just one football, Peyton Manning, and it's showtime, baby. So hell yeah. Zachary, just do what you're gonna do here. Lou Dort. Brandon had to explain that one. I remember. I don't remember all of these, but you get the idea. The real Sun squad goals is the 2021 playoffs. Ayton. I mean, do I have to show you that one? I don't know, but I don't even have this one, which I think for the 68th top Suns collector, soon to be 69th, is a real doozy. Nice. Yeah, all of these are nice plays. This is a premium rare set, because we had to burn, in a lot of cases, more than 1 rare to get these. So the plays themselves had to be pretty special. And in this case, they really were. You can't knock. You can maybe knock Lou Dort, I guess. IQ. I want to see IQ real quick. Mr. IQ. DHO back to IQ. Up the middle, who's that? It's got to be not Brunson because this is 2021, 22. dish. Who's that? Grimes to the corner, up, swish. Beautiful. Love it. Love the passing. Love the arc of the shot. Beautiful. Can't get enough. Brunson, who will be with the Knicks. So this is kind of, you've got dual citizenship for JB here. Scrappy gets on the floor. Yeah, these are long plays. This is not just yeah. I think enough said. Without saying, I don't know what exactly would be A plus across the board, but I think an A is warranted here. I don't think there's too much else you could say about all this. This is A level content, absolutely. And then, so overall, what I would say is, when I think about the rare sets that are between Series 2 and Series 4, when I think about Rising Stars, MGLE2, Season Tip-Off, some of the cool ones in this range, Video Game Numbers is looking great so far, but we don't have a ton of context on that just yet. When I think about All-Star Game, I try not to. And then there were 4, and I think about, there's more. Run It Back, I guess, summer 2021. This is a really quality set. Dynamic duos, which obviously is the easiest comp because those are team moments that are actually attributed to the team in the context of a historical duo, which it was a really cool concept. We'll get to how it was executed in a bit, hopefully, if that's how that plays out. But with Blake is sort of your we all have a little nostalgia for Blake at this point. With Blake as your nostalgia bottleneck with 5 super duper stars out front, really fantastic set. Do I really want to own a Kevin Porter Jr. rare? Only for a challenge. Do I really want to own an Isaac Okoro rare? Not even for a challenge. I'm just being real with you. Jackson Hayes, I'd rather have that East Bay Metallic Gold Series 3. Keldon Johnson, you want to, Keldon Johnson's a good player on, one of the 2 worst teams in basketball. Hard for me to say, and then they're going back the other way. These are some guys where I tend to be pretty picky about my rares because it's hard enough to own a rare of each star. It's hard enough to own a Siakam rare. It took me quite a while because, his prices have always been high for the rares. Donovan holds up really, really well. It's but some of these guys are important. Lonzo's a guy who gets hurt, so might take a while before he actually gets a Series 4 rare, except obviously for this one. But in this season, because he's been hurt, he's been out, I think, all year, right? Might be hard to get him. Might be Dante emerges if Steph, takes his time coming back or something like that. You might need these guys at some point. So I recognize the need for challenges. I just Brunson's a guy where this could be interesting if, need rare crafting challenge reward for, the Monday or the Wednesday flash challenge, Brunson's a guy whose rares hold up pretty well. I neglected to mention that, but if we look at, Brunson rares, I guess real quick, there's some value in here because some of these players are starting to get burned. And then obviously there's Fresh Threads Brunson, which is, this is a great set. I hope we get to that sometime soon. But, these are all within range of each other, 45, 59, there's no love lost here. I guess what was needed for this, because these burn numbers don't add up to 406, but regardless, squad goals, regardless, a lot of high quality players, a lot of the emphasis on it being the first pure crafting challenge reward set with nothing but all badged moments, I guess you could say it that way. All crafting challenge rewards. Lot of cool players in between the cracks. LaMelo, Beal, Hero, Keldon, Chris, IQ. I would not be embarrassed to hold the set. Andre Iguodala is kind of a legend at this point. He's a 4-time champion. Who's going to be mad at this? I had this. Was this the only one I did? These were hard to complete, and so the prices held up relative to a lot of other rares. Obviously, you got some guys in here who are less desirable than the top, but I think it's a great set. I think if a lot of rare sets have a lot more role players, a lot of rare sets like obviously Metallic Gold 3, and then there were 4, and some of these other sets, Dynamic Duos was complicated. Let me just go right out and say it. And so it requires a bit more patience, and there's, the content probably not as good, if I had to say, but throwdowns 2, the mints are too high, and throwdowns 3, a lot of stars, but there's also guys like Juan Toscano Anderson who can't really crack the rotation for the Lakers, and Series 1 has every rare set you could think of. So this is a solid set with great content, great players to lean on for lack of supply, and a lot of locking. This is an A set. I don't know what A plus is going to be. Maybe anthology. Once we get to anthology, it's going to be hard for me to say, oh, this is not an A plus set. It's all Magic Johnson. So, right out of the gate, quality and health of players is going to be, it's just a non-factor. It's obvious. But for what this is, for the current day player, this is an A. I give this, all right, let's do it, right? I give this, can I give it 4.5 sharks? I give it 5 sharks. I give it 5 sharks. 5 sharks, please. 5 sharks for squad goals. This is a premier rare set. You can't really do much better. And with that said, thank you if you've watched this far. Thank you very much for watching this far. If you want to subscribe, you want to see more stuff like this, we're going to do some more stuff like this. Anyway, enjoy your day, your night, your weekend, whatever time it is that you're watching this. And, feel free to follow on Twitter if you don't already, and subscribe and like if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. If you didn't like it, just, you don't have to come back and whatnot. But I'm going to be doing more stuff like this, and it was cool to get the first one out of the way. Take care, and, happy hunting, Sharks.